Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Summit 6 qualifiers for EU. We're here taking a look at our second game of the day. It's going to be ProDota Gaming facing off against Fantastic 5. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by Rhyme. Rhyme, the illustrious, the wonderful, the European sensation that is sweeping the nation. How you doing?
5 seconds remaining.
Mirana.
Hello? Oh God, is it not working? Is your microphone a little bit messed up? Have you heard me this whole time? You stepped away? Oh, let's try calling you. We'll see if we can get a chance to make it through. Rhyme! Are you there?
10 seconds
I am.
remaining.
Okay, sorry. I've been, are you in the Discord as well? Can you hear me?
Dire team
I am in the Discord, yes, but I don't think I can hear you. I think my connection's really bad on the Discord. I don't know why, but it's just like, maybe I can do something.
You know what? It's fine. We'll get rid of Discord. Nobody likes it anyways. It's fine. We'll talk through Skype. So how you doing? You got to see some of the previous set potentially, did you?
I saw
5
Morphling kill
seconds
everyone. That was fun.
It's a pretty great time indeed. And now this time around, it's a little bit of a different hero. It's Chen. I haven't seen this guy in forever. What's the dealio? Chen player.
Radiant team
I'm not a champ player, but I'm pretty sure you just get one or two heroes that are pretty good in lane, and then you send the Chen creeps at the lane, which you're not going to win, and you either go even in it or you get random kills on the map. And then if you get any kind of lead in any lane, then you snowball that and you take a tower, and then you get a mana boots mech Chen, and then you get to take more towers. And then after that you take more towers, and then you kill the big thing at the end.
That's sounds like a pretty easy game.
Did they change the color of the Mirana thing? They did. It's really bright blue now. I haven't been in a captain's mode. No, I haven't watched a captain's mode game in a while. It's really bright blue. It kind of highlights how bad the 3D model is. But, yeah.
It fits well with the Drow Ranger in it as well. You know, they're very blue. They're blue heroes. They want to make it that way. It is a little bit interesting to me, though. What do you think about Mirana as a hero? We saw some of it in the mid lane last time around, but that was mainly, I think, just because of the players that we had. It was Undershock and Sing Sing. They kind of like the hero. Do you rate it pretty high?
I don't really like it too much, but it is like kind of a safe middle hero if there ever was one. It's like you can't lose too hard unless you're playing against something like an OD. Yeah, but like, it's kind of, you can always go arrow creeps, you can show up to a fight and it's not a really high cooldown hero. It gives you some map control because you can use the ulti, it forces sentries and things like that. But it does have some bad matchups, but versus most heroes it'll do pretty okay. And it does quite well with farm, so like, if you give farm for like 10 minutes, it's going to come out with an axe, and then if it farms for a little bit more, it comes out with a dagger, and then it has all these items which kind of make it a little bit stronger every like 2,000, 3,000 gold. And a lot of mid heroes aren't like that, so it's quite good in that regard.
That's pretty cool, definitely. And with the Drow Ranger aura, you get a little bit of extra help there. I like the Nyx Assassin too. I always feel like this hero is just... I think he might be... I don't know if he's underrated anymore, but I feel like he's one of the strongest heroes in the game right now as far as just what he brings to the table. And particularly if you see him against like a Timbersaw or Bat Rider, obviously, that's the dream. But even in this instance, I feel like he's going to be pretty strong. Does he work in a support role, do you think, or does Nyx need to get a little bit more farm than that?
He works in a support role in select circumstances, like when you know that he's going to be able to get access to pulls, or when you know that you've got some kind of setup that's easy for him to use. Like sometimes you'll have like an SD plus something lane, some particularly strong carry hero, and then you'll know that the SD is always going to be there for the Nyx, so then he'll always have that setup and stuff like that. He's also support Nyx needs to, you can pick it more generally, whereas offlane Nyx you kind of want it to deal with one or two heroes specifically. If I were to say it like that.
10 seconds remaining.
So like if the enemy had like mid OD, then you probably want to go offlane Nyx. If they had like not really that many cores that you could counter, then you probably end up going support, because you don't want to have such a huge factor of your hero not be effective. So
yeah, that's something to keep in mind there. I like that idea, and it does feel like it's much more that support role used to be a response as opposed to just like the be-all end-all. It's interesting to me against the Drow Ranger lineup, but I guess the other thing that you can think about is eventually Nyx just like building straight into an Aghanim Scepter as far as being able to hold high ground. And man, Fantastic 5 just running the gambit with interesting heroes. We see Mr. Tree I saw a good game with him yesterday where he just roamed around and got like 5 kills in the first 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, he has a tendency to do
10
that.
seconds remaining.
Sometimes I've played games where I'm playing Morphling, which is quite a lot of them, and then a
5
tree walks into
seconds
your lane, he
remaining.
happens to have a DD, and you just get hit for 120. And just red numbers come up on your screen. This is
Reserve
pretty spooky,
time.
but
I mean, you deserve it
Like-
if you're playing Morphling, right? That's
it's kinda. Yeah, but you've got the armor for the OD. OD's basically, even if Mirana harasses him with the Drought Aura, which we still don't know if Mirana's mid or not, but if that happens, then that's a bit alleviated. It becomes really hard to gank anything particular. Okay, so it's Storm mid, but
oh god.
still,
Radiant team
it's still
ban.
hard for like if Tree's like level 3 or when Storm hits 6 and Storm tries to go kill OD, like one tree armor basically makes it impossible, especially with like raindrop and stuff like that now.
This
But
to me
I
feels
think-
terrifying.
Dire team ban.
Yeah, it's like if this Nyx gets a lot, which the Chen should help with, then as long as there's some strong laning hero on bottom lane, I think they have a chance of getting through the very early laning phase quite well. Because this Nyx needs to get quite a lot, otherwise
10 seconds.
if you've ever played an
remaining.
underfarm Nyx against like 3 to 4 heroes who are pretty farmed,
5
like
seconds
you can't really
remaining.
kill any one hero, and any one of their heroes can kill you, and you have to worry about like the drow signs and
Reserve
things like
time.
that. So it's not the easiest Nyx game in the world, but it's nice against Storm.
Yeah. I feel like also just you look at what Storm has become nowadays. At least for me, I've been watching a lot of the Chinese games, and it's always just like a terrifying late game hero. You deal so much damage with the Drow Ranger Aura on top of you, and then you just are incredibly mobile. Right now, I'm not seeing any really hard lockdowns from Fantastic Five
10
outside of the
seconds
eventual
remaining.
sheepstick from Outworld Devour, but realistically, ProDota Gaming are going to be hitting this nice
5
time. And if I feel like if they go like a
remaining.
Tide here or something, get that quick mech up. I mean, it's a hero that Kefka loves to play. I don't know. Is there anything else that's sticking out to you? How do you feel about it for both of these teams?
I think that Tide for Proto is like if they pick Tide, I think that they would get dragged around the map quite a lot. It's like, but it's also a pretty safe pick here. It's like it's okay against Nyx. They can't burst it in particular. Odie's, I think if they pick Tide,
Whoa.
they're undying. So they're like going really all in on their lanes. Like they want to make sure that whatever goes onto Radiant safe lane gets completely screwed over.
Huh.
Or they could just focus on their own safe lane. Like, I think ProDota need to do really well in this early laning stage, so the
10
OD doesn't like
seconds
start getting
remaining.
farm. Because honestly, I think if this OD get to like level 11 and higher with a Chen with a mech on his team, I don't think they can really fight into him.
Well,
So
this-
Weaver's like a pretty strong laning hero. So
It's also pretty great against the Undying, I think, at those early levels. It is going to be a Biver Undying, which means Kefka is... He's playing the Vengeful Spirit? What is happening? Huh. That's really interesting to me, just based off of my knowledge of these players and stuff. This is going to be an interesting game.
Keka's the offlane player, right?
He was before when he played for Princess Jalopy and London Conspiracy, but they might have switched it up.
yeah. Well, one thing we know is out of Mirana, Venge, and Undying, at least one of them, or a combination of them, is going to be farming, which means that Storm and Drow both need to farm, which means someone
10
needs to farm on the
seconds
offlane in this
remaining.
game, otherwise it's not looking too good. So that means they're going to go aggro with the Venge, Mirana, and
5
Undying.
seconds remaining.
Or they could put one of those three heroes on top lane. Whatever does best against Nyx, I think they'll send up there.
Yeah, for ProDota Gaming, Kefka has been the offlaner for a while. Maybe because he was AFK, they just stole his hero. And he has to play something else. I don't know. That's interesting to me. Well, nonetheless, this is going to be a very intense game. I do like the Weaver against the Tombstone I was talking about, but what to you is the big takeaway of this draft? What do we need to be looking out for the most? Is there anything that you're really concerned about for either team, and the team that you think has an advantage?
This isn't a good OD game past, like, once you get to the mid-late game. Drow's like one of the best heroes against OD in the entire game. Storm isn't bad either. A lot of these heroes are very mobile, which OD has not trouble killing unless he has like a blink and a hex. So there's going to be a point when like Radiant are going to get like mech, they're going to get the OD like Hurricane Pike in level 12 or whatever, and the Weaver's going to get linked, and they're going to keep trying to take fights and maybe push towers from there, but I think if they don't do that, if they don't get to that key point, and if ProDota win this early laning stage, then I think it gets really, really hard. And as soon as this OD starts dying, the game becomes almost impossible. So watch out for that.
Well, we'll see if they can make that happen. ProDota gain out of that early laning stage, okay. And Tree, RMN, he is going to run into a whole host of friends as Decay gets talked, but all of a sudden, guess what?
No way.
They
Okay.
dropped 2 sentry wards. He's just
still
gonna...
living. He's living here.
Oh god, that was not the play! He dropped 2 sentry wards.
30
200
seconds
gold.
to battle.
A lot of mana off every single hero. Oh,
Good
orange.
luck, have fun. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Alright, so who's going top now? Is it just going to be Drow and Undying, and they're going to do this duel offlane with Venge Marana? I think.
Huh.
Yeah. Maybe? No, Undying's walking back, so... Are they really giving this Nyx a 1v1?
Huh.
I think this is a mistake. I think they need to have
The
at least
battle
one hero up there.
begins.
Maybe Potom just threatening with arrows or something, but...
meant to have this.
Well, this is certainly going to be interesting how they decide to run it. Come with me is...
Oh, okay. I get it. Okay, so, yeah, basically because Chen wants to spend all of his time probably messing around with the Drow, that means there's not going to be that many heroes on bot lane, which means Kefka can just kind of sit and farm down here. It's like a tree and a weaver. Like, he should be able to get XP and a bit of farm. And Rana's going to just be, like, arrowing hard camps, so they're just going to get, like, an even spread on farm on Dire, I think.
Yeah.
So...
Well, this is the interesting thing to me. Like I said, Kefka, he tends to play the offlane, and whenever I've seen him play, it's been like on heroes sort of similar to a Tidehunter or something, and I'm wondering how he's going to transition to Avenge play, because it's very different. And Avenge solo in this lane with Mirana roaming around trying to find arrows feels very foreign to their style, but we'll see if this arrow is going to connect. It's going through, connects! Oh, that hurts. There's a dead OD.
Alright, if you die on OD at this point, if he needs to get pretty much every single one of these CS, and if he doesn't do that, then he's going to be really behind. But yeah, dying to a Drought or a Storm, like, you're not going to be able to stop this guy from farming unless you kill him like twice with Chen from the hero. So,
Well, I immediately questioned whether or not the Mirana roaming around was a good thing, and it proves to be the case. I just love this treant set also, by the way, with the pine trees and stuff on them. It's wonderful. But Come With Me going to come and mess around with their farm a little bit as well. How do you feel about this offlane? Should it be able to mess with the Weaver's farm enough?
I don't think it's going to mess with the Weaver's farm very much. It might be able to pull, like, at some point if they lose control, if Radiant lose control of the hard camp, but it's mostly just to say, like, oh, we can get Avenge with some moderate amount of farm, and she's going to come up to a fight with, like, treads and, like, level 7 at maybe 10 minutes or something like that. And then she will still deal a ridiculous amount of damage. So they don't have to put much effort into getting a lot out of this lane, and they'll still get enough, I think. So, Illidan's farm, they don't really care about too much.
I guess that will be something that's, I guess, pretty good for them too. They don't have the greatest lockdown for the Weaver in the world, but likewise, it's the same case for Fantastic Five and the Storm Spirit. Maybe eventually the OD is going to be that player, but already the Storm off to a good start. 11-4 versus 6-3 of the OD. Is this kind of what you're expecting here?
Yeah, after the first death, considering he has Draw Aura, he's got like a 10 base damage advantage, plus 11 almost. But
Top? Kefka? Dropping low? Is he going to die? Trying to take the bugs off? He's going to be able to get out. And salves away as RMN takes a couple tower shots. That was close.
Alright, Kefka, as he thought he was dying, he buys a poor man shield and then quickly sells it after. Is he just gonna buy PMS right now? Or is he just gonna buy boot? No, yeah, he's bought the PMS. It's one of the better heroes to buy it against Weaver. I suppose the extra attacks makes it worth it.
Alright. Pretty interesting. You don't tend to see those on ranged heroes all that often, but...
Yeah, it blocks 10 damage, but it's still worth, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm
With
gonna
me
withhold
looking
judgment.
for the arrow. Hits it again. Oh man, Illidan in some trouble. They have a follow-up stun from the Venge. Time it perfectly. He is gone. Oh wow, ProDota Gaming are looking really good so far. This was a team I was excited about. A couple of new additions, and it feels like they are really at least found something good this game.
Yep, you got Chen sitting on top of CS. Chen and Nyx both level 4. So, although Weaver and OD are a bit underfarmed, provided that some changes occur in the next few minutes. And OD's not doing too bad either. He's got like seeing on 10 denies. He's limiting the amount Storm can get ahead.
There's the...
Is this a gank? I think it's a gank, but
Well,
it's not really working out.
Yeah, they might end up paying for
Yeah,
this.
Yo's
Biver
just
has shown up.
Dead. Maybe,
Oh.
yeah, he's dead.
Dropping low.
no.
4 HP, but maybe they can find the kill onto the OD himself, slowed with the overcharge proc.
Yeah, Storm doesn't
and
have boots though, so we can't get another attack in.
they're backing out. Well, nonetheless, it doesn't end up translating into a kill onto the Storm Spirit. It might now with Tree coming in, and they do have the Leech Seed available, and tries to man up against the OD, wants to take him down low. Can they find this kill? Biver's here as well. Heal's not going to be enough, and OD does fall.
Alright, so OD didn't. He's only got 2 nulls really, so he can't leave this lane, so he just needs to keep sitting here and farming. So Storm's the one that has an easier time, like kind of transitioning out of it. So I think Radiant need to focus a lot more on the OD than Dire does the Storm at this point.
Oh my god,
Illidan,
they
no.
found him again! Oh, what a great play.
Yep, he can't farm here anymore. And when you lose your lane as Weaver, it's almost impossible to come back. So, almost similar case for OD, but it's a bit more lenient in his case. It's already this game is looking pretty bad for Radiant, but they do have the Nyx, who's gonna get level 6 in the next minute, and also the Chen. His farm really slowed down because he tried at 4 minutes. He was level 4, and then he goes for this gank that didn't really work out on the Storm, and then he had to move himself back because he lost control of the enemy jungle. So then he didn't really farm in that time, and now he's a Chen farming his own jungle rather than the enemy jungle. So it's really hard to transition back into the point where he was. He can't really threaten the Storm anymore, so he just needs to farm for himself, I think.
And that's always a bit of a problem too, because if you just leave that hero to farm, like you get a mechanism, sure, at a good timing, arcane boots as well, but then you're kind of in this awkward spot where ProDota Gaming are hitting their timing as well, and it's not the best in the world. I feel like, though, that the start of this game, the fact that they're able to hit those 2-hour arrows basically without any setup, it was just good timing, has completely changed the dynamic of this, and Come With Me is possibly going to pay for this. They do have the Astral.
I'm looking up.
Should
I'm holding
be
a
enough to
Mirana.
find the
I
kill.
see a stunned icon. Oh, that's really cool. Haven't seen that before. It looks really obnoxious, but
I disabled it on this one, so.
they changed it. It's not like a long bar like I saw on Reddit now. It's like a little thing that goes around the ability icon, but it's a big version of the ability icon that goes in the kind of middle of the screen.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So Radiant, honestly, like they're getting pretty good CS overall, but they're just. I'd say that these deaths haven't been too crippling, except for the Weaver. The Weaver's he died when he was on quite a bit of gold, so he's just sitting on Wraith Band and a Bystone at 7 minutes when he'd really like to have like a healer and treads already at this point.
I mean, the other thing that I'm looking at here is it's just like, it feels like a ticking time bomb of the Storm Spirit, where he's not really getting anything that's... There's no way to shut him down once he starts to get those levels up and online. They're rotating in right now to try and find a kill. They've brought the Conqueror and Dark Troll Summoner. There's the Astral. If they can time this perfectly, it'd be really good. Rotation comes in. Physic dropping low. They are going to not find that kill, though. He just backs out.
The problem is, like, they need to keep him there long enough to get 2 Astrals, because they're not going to get enough attacks in, so... But OD is farming quite a bit now, so... They've kind of made it so that Dire can't really challenge him, which is nice. And if the OD gets, like, treads and level 9, maybe he can start farming quite a bit faster.
Wrap around. Illidan dropping again. Arrow connection.
Dire.
The kill. He's going down. They find it again, and yeah, just like that, ProDota making it happen.
Yep, so it was just Venge sitting down here, and then if their over is an arrow, he gets a kill. And that's stayed true for both bottom and mid lane. But Illidan seems to be more easily arrowed than ZZ, so... This bottom's got mana boots already, level 5, gonna get level 6 pretty soon, and then they have Potter multi, along with several heroes that can get kills on their team, so... And the Drow hasn't even suffered either, like he's only really had an Undying just to kind of sit with him. And the Chen hasn't pressured the Drow at all.
Poor Biver. He's going down as well. Bottom lane, looks like they're going to try and find a kill. Come With Me is dropping low, as is Kefka. Arrow connection, they're dropping. It's going to be a time walk off.
Alright, so BZZ did the kind of like cool guys don't look at explosions. He astraled and then walked away from the Undying, and then the Undying's infused raindrop popped, and then he just walked away. So yeah. But Illidan gets a return kill now. They kill both the bottom and the Venge, so...
Well, Garter stunned. They are going to get the Astral off as well. With the rotation, so they keep him back. Arrow misses the Nyx Assassin. Now it's a bit of an awkward one.
All of this stuff doesn't really matter too much for Dire. Like, they can lose some heroes in some of their lanes, as long as the Drow doesn't get too effective as well.
Tombstone down, looks like they want to fight. Come with me, leaps away, they got the kill. Nyx Assassin finds it, and they're going to turn now onto this Tombstone. He does not have another Soul Rip available, and it looks like Chen and the gang are thinking about sticking around, but Kept is there. He's going to be able to catch onto Yol, turn around. They get the heal onto the Nyx Assassin, and with Illidan showing up, they might be able to find this. Need to be careful about all those little bugs, but the Storm is there as well.
At the back. Like, does Illidan have TP? Is he just going to walk all the way back to base? Is he going to go by Ring of Health from side chop? I think they're going to have to leave the Weaver up here to farm. Like, by treads. So everyone's kind of just clustered up here, but there's no tombstones, so this tower might take a bit of damage here from the Weaver. But I don't think they feel confident enough to stay here long term.
Is under attack.
All the while, Storm is going to be farming. He's got both treads and a 1 now, so...
Feeling like it's pretty good for them. And as far as the net worth lead, I mean, it's relatively even. I'm still waiting to see this type of group up and fight around a Tombstone coming out from the Undying, but Nyx Assassin just destroys him. A quick and easy Vendetta spike is going to be enough for that. And 6.
Could you rehost the call a second? I'm having difficulty hearing you.
Yeah, no problem.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Get him back into here in just a second. Oh, there you are. Wonderful. Hello? You there?
There we go. There we go. Everything's fine.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so everyone pretty much has between 30 and 50 CS in this game, and everyone is fighting. So the only one who isn't really is the Drow, who just kind of isn't that involved. But she's going to get Dragonlance soon, and she's going to get more points than Aura, so she's going to feel like she wants to join in a bit. Dire lost their tier 1 safe lane, which isn't ideal, but they're going to get to farm the enemy safe lane and get a lot of farm on Storm in the meantime, so... This game is looking pretty even.
Yeah, I think that it's still just to me a question of, as we get the disconnect on Mirana, what's the big, like... Dragonlance on Drow obviously makes a pretty big difference. She's building towards that, has it coming out to her on the courier right now, and it feels like they do want to try and push around that. Tree is here to help keep the towers alive, has a decent amount of farm for himself, and I guess the big problem is just that Illidan Weaver is like doesn't have what he needs to defend at this point.
Yeah, he's kind of been the main casualty of war in this laning stage, although the 2 kills he did get most recently have kind of put him back into it, so he's not the most underfarmed 2-3 Weaver that there's ever been, so... But it's also like, does he go Linken's this game? I think he still has to, but there's a Drow silence, there's arrows flying around, but his itemization is going to be a bit difficult, I think. And the OD, he's honestly, like, just looking at his net worth, he's a bit behind the Weaver, but I just don't think he's going to be very farmed, and I don't think his farm's going to accelerate very much either, unless they start getting some kills. And Chen's mech is 700 gold away, so it's going to be another 2-3 minutes really before Radiant feel comfortable taking like a large-scale fight. Whereas Dire, really, they've got the Storm, Soul Ring plus Treads, like that's all he really needs with a Drow Aura. And Drow's about to get Dragonlance, Venge is level 9, probably going to go Drum or something. So they're kind of ready to go, I think. So it's just a question of, can Radiant really defend their tier 1s in this time? They do have the tree, as you said, which is kind of handy against Drow, but it may not be enough.
Yeah. It's, the thing to me that also, like, it just feels as the game goes on, you've got a lot of tower hitters out of ProDota gaming. You got the Drow Ranger, you got the Storm Spirit, you got access to Ancients, you got access to Roshan. They're going to take down that tower pretty rapidly. And you do have high ground defense out of Fantastic Five, as Nyx Assassin is building first item Aghanim Scepter, which he should be able to get before, like, eventually, you know, things start to really take a turn for the worse. But what is their end game? Like, what are they trying to accomplish? I feel like normally with the Chen, you want to try and, like, get active early and find a bunch of kills and then start taking down towers with your own mech, but it almost feels as if ProDota are going to hit that timing earlier.
Yeah, the way they, like, Radiant saw this going is they saw the Weaver and the Tree doing pretty well bot lane. They saw the OD getting good farm mid, supported by the Chen, maybe a few kills on the Storm, and the Nyx getting at least like a decently timed level 6 top, and then he would be able to move around and possibly threaten the Storm. But then they lost complete control of both the bot and mid lanes, so
Come with me.
none of that's really come to fruition.
Getting gone on now. You've got the Weaver in the area. They're going to be able to get the silence, though. Arrow goes out, is not going to connect quite on time there for Illidan. And you know they got the Dragonlance there with Come With Me taking that damage. It looks like they are going to back out for the moment. Don't want to get caught off guard and killed.
Alright, so it's everyone pretty much has near to the same farm on Radiant. Everyone's kind of averaged out to around 3,000.
Oh god, this could be a problem. They've got the Nyx in the
Misty
area.
doesn't get the Carapace.
There's the jump, there's the kill, just like that. Now, the Carapace wasn't perfect, but they still managed to find that. And this is still going to be off the back of ProDota, applying some pressure to this top tower, but Storm can't really die like that.
Remain coming in with the ulti. Yes.
Connects, Illidan wants to make some stuff happen. Kefka taking a bit of damage as well. They turn, try and find that kill. Biver's going to go down as well. So a double for Fantastic Five. ProDota kind of feeding over a couple to their enemies.
Yeah, in the moment, I think that they were relatively the strongest. They kind of split apart and tried to push towers with two heroes that had no way of getting out. And I think, honestly, if you're pushing tier 1 towers with like less than 3 or 4 heroes, you need a sentry there. Otherwise, you can just get overgrowth. Like, it didn't even come to mind as a thing that could happen for me. I didn't even consider it, but it's like something you're not usually that worried about. It's just like the enemy tree just walking around, killing people.
Oh, Garter, do they spot him out? They don't see that the Nyx Assassin is there, and now Stomp, as well as a couple hits from the Hadouken. Garter penance and killed off. Test of Faith secures it. Chen finding kills, and this is more the speed of things that I think Fantastic Five were hoping the game to run at. And I don't know.
Yeah, the question is now, is he gonna... He's bought his mech recipe. Can he push this tower? I don't think so. Not against the Venge being there. It's just the only problem... lag?
Essentially, you there?
I can hear you a bit.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's all falling apart. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me? Yes?
Can you hear me through the void?
I can, to a degree. Alright, that's enough for me.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to push this out. Nyx now also has Vendetta there.
Yeah, lots of invisible heroes running around on Radiant, really. Sentries are a high priority for Dire at the moment. They're centering pretty much everything.
ProDota. It's time to take down some ancients. What do you think is going to be the point where they can start swinging in and actually setting up siege on towers for ProDota? Is that something that they're not even interested in?
Drow level 11 plus maybe a Yash or another item. Storm Bloodstone. Bottom Witch she starts getting a bit tankier, and then Venge when she... Well, Venge is just gonna kind of scare with the rest of the team. So I'd just say Storm Bloodstone, and when Drow gets level 11 plus another item, that's when they feel really confident. Because honestly, the later this goes, I think the better Dire are in this game. Because OD's matchups versus Storm, Venge, and Drow are pretty terrible. So, as the game goes on, it's going to average out to OD getting bopped pretty hard. But he does have the Veil for now. He's probably just going to go 4 stuff into Hurricane Pike directly after. But I'm just kind of worried that... Yeah, look, top 2 people in the tower themselves overgrowth again.
Running away is going to be the Storm for the moment. They drop the Moonlight Shadow as well. Come with me. Loses her bug and they back out. But top lane, they're going to go back in onto the OD now. He's in some trouble. They pop the mechanism from the Chen, trying to keep him alive, but this should be a kill. Is the send back? Oh my goodness.
You can send people back and then he can ask
what a combo. Pretty great.
Oh, the ogres have been hunted down. Alright, Nyx is... he's undetected, but I don't think there's anything here he can kill. I think he knows that too. Unless the OD gets there in time and Venge doesn't back out enough.
Oh man.
Okay,
Venge, this
rest in
is
peace.
very dead hero. There come a couple
As he
of
misses the stun
Dukens. Get him, nicely done.
But all of this is just kind of a big distraction while Storm farms his Bloodstone. That's the main thing here. Because once he gets his Bloodstone and he starts getting involved in fights, then it gets harder and harder to deal with him.
Well, in the meantime, the fact that they were able to deal a ton of tower to the tier 1 top and that's all healed back up by RMN, like, it is a frustrating game, I think, to play a Drow Ranger. You've got a good ability to try and siege down towers, but if you're trading consistently, if you're having to like trade off towers, it feels as if Fantastic Five are going to come out ahead because they can tend to regen them before it's going to go down all the way.
Yeah, it just means you have to commit a lot more. You don't get this like attrition against the enemy towers that you would normally get with a Drow lineup. So, for example, like when you normally play against Drow, like and they have a range support, like you can't leave that support in the lane for more than like 30 seconds, otherwise your tower will start getting threatened and your towers drop pretty quickly. But if you have a tree, then like Dire need to send like 3, maybe more heroes at a certain tower in order to like even have a chance of taking it. So Tree's pretty good against Drow in that respect, but Tree's also one of the worst heroes at actually fighting Drow lineups, so it's kind of a trade-off. Like they're kind of relying on Tree starting a fight and then not really being necessary afterwards.
Overgrowth again. Armen chasing down the storm. They do have that blink dagger up on Tree, so he's extra maneuverable, and he might actually just go down here. They're not going to go for it. Weaver gets the kill down in the bottom lane. In some trouble.
Oh my.
Chase continues. Gonna find
Easy
it.
is like constantly chasing, just calling, we can go, and Armen's like, no, we can't go, and then he's like backing out, and he almost didn't get the kill because he got fogged by the trees.
Bottom lane, more damage going and dealt. They have no arrow to find the kill onto that.
I meant to say he's fine, then I said he's dead. That was, yeah.
That's fine.
Yol's got a lot of creeps, but I think he doesn't have a lot of team, so he needs to kind of get out.
My damage redoubled.
Carter, meanwhile, is going to move into the Roche pit with the DD rune. Seems like a pretty good time to go and try and take that. The Storm Spirit getting picked off is certainly frustrating, but now it looks like ProDota might be contested in this. Got the movement in. Armen, Blink Dagger available. Roshan gets taken. A big Say's Eclipse is available. Thinking about going for this. Impale connects onto 2. Garter is going to drop. I think, maybe, possibly, getting out of there for the moment. There's the Aegis down. The Tombstone is up on the high ground on the other side of the pit, though, so this might be a little bit too tough. With the Overgrowth coming in, Garter is finally going to drop. He finds that kill.
Yeah, so that went pretty much as bad as it possibly could have. Yeah, so they dedicate the time to taking Roche, they lose the Roche immediately, and now they sacrifice their tier 2 bot as a result of that, so
bottom tower is under attack.
kind of giving everything Radiant wants to them in one move, really. They just saw the DD rune and were like, oh, we can rush with this. They didn't really consider where the enemy team was or if they could interfere.
One of the plus sides we do have is Come With Me has been able to build halfway into his Aghanim Scepter, and they're getting closer and closer to these things. The other thing, though, is that Tree is building into his, already with the Blink Dagger online, as well as that point booster. We've talked a lot at this game so far about ProDota and the way that in the late game they do have a lot of answers for OD. Do you think with these other items coming online, the Nyx Assassin Ags, the Tree Ags, that maybe transitions thing back into the favor of Fantastic Five more so than we might imagine at first?
Yeah, there's going to be a point around like 30 minutes, or like actually when they get there. It's not, the Tree Ags doesn't really affect fights too much, but it's like more the Nyx Ags and the Chen. When he gets like Mech and Vlad's, like when they get that core item along with the Hurricane Pike, that's when they're at their strongest in this game. Whereas Dire, it's like the Storm isn't going to be at his strongest until he has like a Lincoln's plus an Orchid plus a BKB and all that stuff. So it's like in the 40-minute plus area, like Dire do better, but they've got like a Drow strat, which is like Drow strats often include a lot of heroes that don't farm very well. Like Podem doesn't really farm that great as a support. Like she's okay. Like Undying can't really farm very well by himself. Like Venge All these heroes have to kind of like stay in lanes and farm.
He's gonna walk out of the Sentry. Never mind. Excuse me. There he goes.
Dire's middle tower is
Oh,
under
they got
attack.
him on sentry, but yeah, he can't swap him back in. He's gonna get arrowed though. They might still go for this.
They're looking, seeing if they could find it. He's stuck in there. He is actually going to get found, and now the silence
He's
onto
looking
two.
at the trail.
Our men taking some damage. They kill them both off. They have to cancel that TP. It's gonna be a tier 1 tower.
Structures are fortified.
First tower of the game in 21 minutes
Radiant's
from
bottom
Roshan.
tower
Yeah,
is
because
under
like
attack.
as I was saying, like, they don't farm very easily, like without tower gold.
Radiant's
But when they get
bottom
this injection of
tower
tower
has
gold, you've got
fallen.
all these heroes. Like they kind of scale pretty similarly. So once they get like 2-3 towers going, then the storm gets spotted so much easier. The drow gets whatever she's going for, and then it becomes a lot harder to fight them.
Radiant's bottom
And also,
tower
like Radiant
is
don't
under
have a very
attack.
easy way of starting fights without the
Radiant
trees, so
structures are fortified.
they can't really fight into this very well.
Dire's middle tower is under
Illidan,
attack.
he's moving in now, and they're gonna throw out the bugs. Come with me, get some on him as well. Biver's left alone and actually doesn't have his tombstone down. Just gets dismantled there by the OD. Looks like everybody else is gonna back out. Hurricane Pike for the OD, and that Bloodstone is finished off. So
Tower is under attack.
a little bit of a lull in the action.
Whenever you play against a tree, like whenever you go through these half-hearted, like, okay, the enemy team's spawning kind of soon, we can kind of pressure this tower, there's no real reason for us to leave right now. Like, you should just get out, because whatever damage you inflict to the tower without killing it isn't going to matter.
Radiant's
And
middle
there's also
tower
going to
is
be
under
several
attack.
heroes around you in invisibility that can initiate on you at any point, so it's kind of just a risky proposition to kind of stay around.
Convincing here, he did spot out that the Nyx assassin was in the area. I thought he picked up a regen rune right in front of him. They have just been stalking this whole time through, and if they manage to
Lots of
find a
ships
kill
passing
here,
in the night right now.
this would be awful. They do find one BZZ, but the overgrowth onto 3, maybe in some trouble. Nyx assassin only hit 1 with the impale. I'm not sure if it's good enough, and meanwhile the burrow is going to be able to get the counterplay. Oh, oh man, the storm very low. If they could find this Bloodstone kill, this would be devastating. He does go to the high ground, and looks like they're gonna have to call it off.
Got Garter on the run from Illidan though, and he's got a TP. He needs to TP out pretty soon
They go
before
for
he
it.
gets to him. Is he gonna get it? Oh, no, not quite. So, important thing there is that they only really lost the Podo out of that. They didn't farm, but they didn't lose the Storm, so they still have that 12 Bloodstone Charge Storm. And I think one of the only reasons the Storm really got out is because Nyx hasn't maxed mana burn, but I guess it's kind of Spike Carapace is more
Dire's
valuable for
top
the
tower
offering Nyx.
is under attack.
But it's just one of my pet peeves, you know. When Nyx has rank 1 mana burn, when any higher points would put him that kill.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Well, I mean that's one of those things. There aren't a ton of heroes that have like in the ProDota lineup that mana burn works great against, but this early movement in and taking down the tower potentially if they're not careful. The Desolators there for Weaver did not opt to go for the Lincolns.
Yeah, he just needs a lot of damage.
I like
because
this build.
otherwise, Lincoln doesn't really save him from what kills him in this game, so he also needs to, like, if you're on ProDota and you see, like, you have all these maneuverable heroes and you're playing against a Weaver that just has a Lincolns and doesn't do much right click, then you have no real reason to kill the Weaver, so what's the point of Weaver building defensive items anyway?
Right. That's true enough. All right, here comes the play though, and just outside of range, they don't find the Nyx assassin. They are not going to be able to get that kill, so it does feel though like there's this swing of momentum back into Fantastic Five's favor, and you're talking about it's hit a little bit earlier, the 25-minute mark instead. Nyx still here. God, this is so
Dire's
scary.
middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, the next Ags isn't that scary until he gets level 14, honestly, because then it gets to the point where he doesn't really have a reliable disable for Storm, but he has a reliable way of limiting how long the Storm can stay in a fight. Because when you're playing Storm without a BKB or a Lincolns against Nyx, then your lifetime in the fight is limited to like 3 or 4 mana burns. So you have to kill
Radiant's
1 or
middle
2 heroes in
tower
that
is
time,
under
otherwise
attack.
you're just not going to be able to fight. So that's the point when he gets really worried.
Well, Illidan moving forward now. You've got Nyx here as well. About half the tower damage gone. They're just going to back out. ProDota not feeling like they can make these plays. And on the other side, Come With Me is going to get controlled, throws out the arrow, and is going to have to leap over to the left side. Does have a TP here. But will he be able to make it out? Tree? Oh, yep, he's gone.
Kafka's acquiring. Yeah, he's got Transform Shadowblade, as he do. Not particularly sure why he's got Shadowblade, but he does.
I mean, you do what you
It's
want,
not
right?
Yes. He just needs to right click really. And he's like one of their only disables, so attaching an invis to one of your main disables is probably a pretty good idea.
Well, it'll be fine. We see the Drow going back for the Maelstrom now as well, so...
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one though.
I mean, Hags eventually, it's pretty good.
I don't think Hags is useful in this game at all. I think that you need just single target damage to capitalize on any time when Radiant get caught out of position or you get a disable with your Venge. And honestly, I would just go like S and Y or like Manta Hurricane.
Spoil that shot.
Anything that's just not Mask of Madness Maelstrom, but I don't know.
I guess the other part about it that's kind of nice is there have been a lot of Chen creeps, then you only have one arrow to kill them off, so you might want to save that for your actual disable as they found RMN. Nice little bit of Bloodstone charges potentially here, although Illidan is showing up as well. They've got a lot of damage being dealt onto Kefka. Doesn't hit with the Impale though. Hand of God comes out. He is going to end up dying, and now Illidan, overextension, is going to be brought down as well. Double for Pimbingsit, trying to chase down this Nyx assassin now. TPing out, not going to happen. They escape, and they find the kill. Illidan counterplay.
Problem with Radiant's team is if they don't fight as 5, they don't fight as like really at all. If they ever get caught like a 3v4 or a 2v3, like they don't do very well. Unless the OD like astrals and then they burst someone. So they have to be really careful about how they move around the map. Whereas Dire, their lineup is a bit more forgiving because they have these maneuverable heroes, they have heroes with Shadow Blades, and they have Undying. Like Undying can just walk to a lane and probably people are going to leave him alone because honestly, it's just an Undying, right? But now, after they get those kills, they get the Roche, they get another DD on Drow, because why not? And Storm is getting close to his Orchid.
Yeah.
15 Bloodstone charges too.
This is a pretty great time for them, and this to me felt like the thing that was always going to be coming around eventually. Is you've got the ProDota lineup that just hits so freaking hard, and we are getting closer to that Triags, which can cause some issues, but at the same token, if they wanted to, they could just go like Gem and Quelling Blade for Undying to cut down all of those trees that cause problems, or just drop his Tombstone wherever they want to, or Storm Spirit. I mean, they have a lot of ways to kill trees. As Illidan gets hit by the arrow and, well...
Yeah, he dies to silence one time and then he immediately just buys the Diffusal. I'm sure he probably knew he was going to do that beforehand, but it seems very much cause and effect right now. And Drow picks up the Hurricane Pike, so we're saved from the monstrosity of the Mask of Madness Maelstrom Hags for the time being.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's...
That,
you don't like that
honestly,
build?
I don't think it does anything really, because I think the only thing that really matters when you're playing Drow versus heroes like Weaver and OD, you don't need to focus that much on pushing lanes, because they don't push lanes very well. So the only thing you really need to do is just kill them when you fight them. And Hags, it doesn't really add that much in a team fight. Sure, you'll kill some chain creeps maybe if he's not careful, but when you do that anyway, it provides almost nothing in terms of damage in most fights. So
well, we'll see if it works out for him here. It's certainly got its downsides.
yeah, but I like the Hurricane Pike. So Maelstrom just helps him farm a little bit better.
This is a very tenuous moment though, as they pop the ulti from Biver, doing a good bit of damage. Astral to keep the Weaver alive. They silence the OD as well, looking for Yol. That's one kill. Bloodstone charges. It's going his direction, and Illidan now gone also. A pretty nice combination with the Impale and the Sneeze Eclipse, but it's not enough damage. And
yeah, he couldn't attack anyone. He couldn't steal any.
Oh god, arrow. They caught the Nyx. Oh god, he's going down as well. The blink away is going to be good, but Armin might end up paying as well.
No
he is dead.
Just Drow hitting for red numbers. 350 damage. Yep, that's cool. I'm okay with that. BZ just kind of sticking around. Yeah, so there's a 350 damage hero and a 210 damage hero and a 150 damage hero. Oh, don't forget the 240 damage hero. Yeah, they're just gonna hit that tower now. They just win 2 fights and then every tower is dead and they're hitting onto the ground. So the tree armor might do something here, but tree armor will make sure that they don't lose their tier 3 anytime soon. So they only lose the tier 1 and tier 2. It's not a big cost, right?
It's not the end of the world, but it's certainly not the greatest thing ever. It's a rough life right now for them.
Yeah, the only the thing is they're losing their Nyx and they're losing like Chen and they're losing the Weaver so quickly that the tree doesn't have time to blink an ulti to stop the auto attacks. Like the Nyx doesn't have time to mana burn the storm. It's just everything happens so quickly, and Radiant's lineup really doesn't operate on the same time scale even. It's like they want to get the bugs out, they want to see where everyone is. OD wants to blink in an astral someone and then attack someone else. Nyx wants to stun a whole bunch of people and then get another mana burn. Where ProDota, they just stun someone and everyone just go right click that guy. Storm goes silence and someone kills him. Like there's not the level of complexity involved. So it's just kind of an ease of execution factor at this point.
Shadowblade Vengeful Spirit Initiation looking for this Weaver, and they run right by him. They do turn back around, spot him now. Can they find the kill? Illidan, arrow, drop the sentry ward. There's the dead Weaver, and I don't even think a Lincoln's would have saved him there anyways, so pretty nice one for ProDota. I feel like if you're going to open up with like Drow Ranger and Mirana, and then you're managed somehow to get Avenge and Storm Spirit on top of that, like the draft is just everything that ProDota wanted they got.
Yeah, but there was also a point in this game where we were saying, like, okay, Radiant have got their axe up and they're going to take a whole bunch of fights, but then they just didn't do that, and then they got caught out and died, so I don't think we can say too much about, like, oh, they're so silly for letting these heroes go through or whatever, when they just really didn't watch where they were on the map, and they didn't really account for how maneuverable ProDota is. And now they're just going to lose 2 more towers, and before OD was, like, sitting 3,000 above both of the Drow and Storm, but now it's almost the other way around.
Towers are falling with a quickness. Still got 3,500 net worth on this, or rather gold in the bank for the Drow Ranger, and he's definitely feeling like it's their game to lose.
He could, I'm not sure what, I think Beekeepers are like one of the safe ones, but I think I'd go Manta in this game if I was Drow, just for the overgrowth, and it's just a nice item to have. But he could go for almost anything. He could just go for Daedalus, so he just kills people instantly. He's got a lot of freedom. Storm, probably just going to buy BKB as soon as possible, so he doesn't have to worry about Nyx.
Come with me.
And
spotted out by Illidan. Diffusal bladed well. Not gonna get it.
Can't chase that though. That's just the Avenge Shadowblade just walking around. That's just instant death. So now Radiant are stuck in the situation where they have to take 5-on-5 fights, but they can't get 5-on-5 fights. And even if they did, I don't know if they'd win.
It's a rough life right now. Illidan's doing his bestest, trying to push these lanes out, and you do still have the Nyx Assassin who's over there to the side. He's got himself a nice little Aghanim Scepter and building towards, imagine a Blink next, potentially. But it looks like ProDota want to take this fight, and there is a wraparound. RMN invisible, as is Illidan, and they're going to run right into all of them. Biver, drop the tombstone, is going to get it off, force-staffed away, and stunned up is going to be Illidan. They find the kill onto that Undying. In the meantime, though, Garter's just on the back lines, doing whatever the damn hell he pleases. RMN taking a good bit of hits to it, and they kill off all the Chen creeps. Storm is doing whatever he wants as well. The Force Staff and Hurricane Pipe pop back for the Drow. So 2 are gone on each side, but it feels like BZ's about to go down as well. There's a kill for the Vengeful Spirit on the OD. Looking for Yol. 22 Bloodstone charges is a scary-ass Storm.
Yeah, they don't even bother going for the Chen. He's just a waste of time. They can get Rex. Yeah, so both Drow and Storm just opt to go for BKBs, and they take one fight with BKBs, and then the base is right for the taking. So Illidan now, he buys back, he's going to try and get some damage done, trying to pull the wave back a bit maybe, but he can't go in. He doesn't want to have to use another Diffusal charge. Like one Venge stun and he dies.
Dropping him down, there's the catch, there's the kill. Illidan's gonzo. Yeah. The buyback from the OD.
Illidan's very dead. As long as ProDota kind of... When's Rosh up? Rosh is up in... We can see when he's spawning in about a minute. So they'll probably wait for that, and then they're going to push down the bot tier 2 and then go forward from there. But now, like, yeah, you've got another 2k gold on the Drow, you've got Storm sitting on 1.9, he could probably start going towards a Lincoln's or a Shiva's or literally anything under the sun. Come With Me's got I think he's probably just going to go for a dagger, and then he's going to spend his fights just following the Chen or the tree around. Venge, just another BKB to deal with. No worries there. It's not looking very good for Radiant, I'll be honest.
It's a hard game. They've got that Triags. They're gonna be able to get all the vision in the world. Look at them go, RMN. What a guy.
Yeah, they've got all the vision in the world located to the locations where they're given map control and the time when Radiant are regenning from taking their racks. So it's not looking too bad. You've got OD, he's getting pretty close to a BKB, and then he will BKB and then probably die to Drow, but there is a scenario where he doesn't die to Drow horribly, so in that situation he uses his BKB, he waits out for the Storm doesn't have BKB, then he starts right-clicking and the mana burn kind of helps him out as well.
ProDota realized that their smoke got broken, I guess. I'm not sure if they did realize that. The tree was able to break it walking by them, but meanwhile they've jumped onto the Nyx Assassin. There's the pullback. Illidan is here to be able to do a decent chunk of damage. The arrow actually not going to connect. Oh, really good swap away by Kefka. He pops his BKB, trying to kill off that Nyx Assassin. They do eventually find it, and Illidan can time-lapse to the best of his abilities, but it's not going to matter.
He dies so fast.
Oh, man, and there's RMN dropping also. Yeah, this is a problem. ProDota, everything that they could possibly want. 26 Bloodstone charges now on top of them, and they're just going to cut. They don't even care about creeps. Nyx Assassin set up, able to dodge away from the arrow. Still alive as the tier 3s are fallen, and it looks like a second lane of barracks is on deck. I don't know how you stop this. There's the stun, the right clicks, the damage just eliminated, and GG gets called as ProDota take it. Pretty easy one for that Drow Ranger draft.
Yeah, it's like it just took 1 or 2 lapses in focus from Radiant, and then they got caught in the enemy jungle, they got caught around the tier 1, and then once that kind of stuff happens, you lose a tier 1 or a tier 2, and then you just get this massive gold injection on Radiant, and they all suddenly get like Shadow Blades and Maelstroms and Hurricane Pikes, and then it just becomes harder and harder to fight. And I think Radiant needed a strong hold on this game for like the very early laning phase until like the 30-minute mark, and then if they took a lot bunch of towers, then even then it would have still be kind of hard. So,
all right.
But I like the way they played the early game.
Yeah, they did what they needed to do. You take a look at the graphs and you can see that there was that build up and drop down eventual. So that's going to do it for game number 1, guys. Game number 2 is going to be coming up shortly. We'll see if Fantastic 5 can pull it back or if ProDota Gaming are going to be able to pull away with this one. Been Lyrical, he's been Rhyme. Follow us on Twitter if you feel so inclined. It's up there in the title, but make sure you keep on following Summit 6 EU qualifiers. We'll be back in a bit.